"Get that damn thing off the ship before it rips us all to shreds," Captain On roared, his voice echoing through the metallic corridors of the UAN Vengeance. The crew, seasoned veterans of countless skirmishes, looked on in shock as the creature, a sleek dark mass of muscle and intelligence, snarled and snapped at its restraints. The Vengeance had just returned from a classified mission to the fringes of known space, carrying a payload that was causing a stir throughout the Galactic Union. Rumors had been circulating for months about the latest human weapon, but no one had anticipated this. As the beast was coaxed into a containment unit by a team of heavily armored soldiers, Commander Ross, the ship's second in command, approached Captain Holston. "Sir, do you really think it's wise to unveil the pet at the council meeting? The alien representatives are already on edge." Hans smirked, his scarred face creasing with amusement. "That's precisely why we're doing it, Ross. Let them see what humanity is capable of. It's about time we stop playing nice." The Galactic Union Council Hall was a marvel of alien architecture, a sprawling complex filled with representatives from hundreds of species, each with their own agendas and fears. The hall buzzed with activity as delegates argued, debated, and negotiated the future of the galaxy. The human delegation, led by Ambassador Strickland, was a relatively recent addition, having joined the council only 50 years prior. In that time, humanity had gained a reputation for its unpredictability and tenacity. The doors of the council chamber opened with a hiss, drawing the attention of the assembled delegates. Captain Holland and his team marched in, the containment unit hovering behind them. Whispers spread like wildfire through the chamber as the alien representatives caught sight of the ominous black box. Ambassador Strickland, a tall, imposing figure, stepped forward to address the council. "Honorable delegates, we esteemed members of the Galactic Union, today we bring you a demonstration of human innovation and resolve. Behold the newest addition to our military arsenal." With a dramatic flourish, Holston pressed a button on the control panel. The sides of the containment unit slid away, revealing the creature inside. It was a genetically engineered hybrid, a synthesis of Earth's most fearsome predators. Its eyes glowed with a predatory intelligence as it scanned the room, muscles rippling beneath its dark fur. Gasps and murmurs of fear spread through the council chamber. The Zor ambassador, a being of slender limbs and translucent skin, rose to his feet, his voice trembling. "What is the meaning of this? Are you threatening us with this abomination?" Strickland shook his head, his expression one of mock innocence. "Not a threat, Ambassador, merely a demonstration. This creature, which we've named the Cerberus, represents the pinnacle of our scientific achievements. It is a symbol of our strength and our determination to protect our interests." The Corax representative, a hulking brute with armored scales and a single cyclopean eye, growled menacingly. "You dare bring such a beast into this sacred chamber? This is an outrage." Hans stepped forward, his hand resting casually on the hilt of his sidearm. "Outrage. No, Representative Corax. Outrage is what we feel when our colonies are attacked by pirates, when our trade routes are ambushed, and when our people are slaughtered. This," he gestured to the Cerberus, "is our response." The creature let out a low, rumbling growl, causing several of the delegates to shrink back in fear. The tension in the room was palpable, the air thick with apprehension and barely restrained hostility. Ambassador Strickland's voice was calm, but his words carried an unmistakable warning. "We did not come here to make threats. We came here to show you that humanity will not be trifled with. We are prepared to defend ourselves and our allies by any means necessary. The Cerberus is just one example of the lengths we are willing to go to ensure our survival." The room fell into a stunned silence, broken only by the soft hum of the containment unit and the occasional growl from the Cerberus. The alien representatives exchanged uneasy glances, their collective unease growing with each passing moment. Finally, the Harian ambassador, a being of pure energy encased in a shimmering exosuit, spoke up. "Humanity's aggressive posture is concerning. We must find a way to coexist peacefully or risk plunging the galaxy into chaos." Strickland nodded slowly. "Peace is always our preference, but peace cannot be achieved through weakness. It must be built on a foundation of mutual respect and strength. Let this serve as a reminder humanity is not to be underestimated." As the human delegation exited the council chamber, leaving behind a stunned and fearful assembly of alien representatives, Captain Holland allowed himself a satisfied smile. The message had been delivered loud and clear. Humanity was no longer content to play by the rules of others. They would chart their own course, no matter the cost, and the galaxy would tremble in their wake. The weeks following the demonstration were tense, a palpable shift in the galaxy's balance of power. Alien broadcasts replayed the unveiling of the Cerberus on loop, analysts dissecting every detail, the politicians making grand declarations. It was clear that humanity's message had been received, but the ramifications were only beginning to unfold. Captain Han stood in the command center of the UN Vengeance, his gaze fixed on the holographic display showing the positions of various alien fleets. Intelligence reports indicated increased military activity among several species, and the signs of an impending confrontation were unmistakable. Any new updates on the Corax movements? Han asked, not turning from the display. Commander Ross, his second-in-command, stepped forward. Yes, sir. Our scouts report that the Corax have mobilized a significant portion of their fleet near the border of the neutral zone. They're conducting war games, but we believe it's a show of force. Han nodded. They want to test us. Make sure they're not the first to find out what the Cerberus can do. Ross hesitated for a moment. Sir, there's something else. We've intercepted communications between the Zor and the Harians. It looks like they're forming an alliance, possibly to counter what they perceive as the human threat. The captain's eyes narrowed. An alliance, huh? Interesting. They're scared, which means our demonstration worked. But it also means we need to be prepared for anything. Before he could continue, the ship's communications officer interrupted. Sir, incoming transmission from Earth Command. Patch it through, Han ordered, turning to face the holo screen. The stern face of Admiral Bishop, the head of Earth's military forces, appeared. Captain Holland, we've received word of increased alien activity across several sectors. Your orders are to maintain a defensive posture but be ready to respond to any hostile actions. We're deploying additional fleets to key locations as a precaution. Holston gave a crisp salute. Understood, Admiral. We'll be ready. As the transmission ended, Han turned back to his crew. You heard the Admiral. We're on high alert. Double the patrols and keep all systems at full readiness. And make sure our friend in the containment unit is ready for deployment at a moment's notice. The crew snapped into action, the command center buzzing with activity. Despite the tension, there was a sense of grim determination. They knew the stakes, and they knew what was expected of them. Hours turned into days, and the galaxy held its breath. Reports of skirmishes and border clashes filtered in, each incident escalating the tension further. It was clear that the fragile peace was hanging by a thread, and it wouldn't take much to tip the scales into full-scale war. One evening, as Holland was reviewing tactical reports in his quarters, the ship's alarm blared. He rushed to the command center, where Commander Ross was already at his post. What's happening? Han demanded. Sir, we've detected multiple unidentified vessels entering the neutral zone. They're on an intercept course with one of our patrols, Ross reported. Have they made any hostile moves? Han asked, his mind racing through the possibilities. Not yet, sir, but they're not responding to hails, and they're heavily armed. It looks like they're trying to provoke us. Han's jaw tightened. All right, scramble our fighters and bring the Cerberus online. If they want a confrontation, we'll give them one. The ship's klaxons blared as pilots rushed to their fighters and soldiers prepared for battle. In the containment unit, the Cerberus was awakened from its slumber, its eyes glowing with a fierce intelligence. As the Vengeance moved to intercept the unidentified vessels, Han watched the tactical display closely. The alien ships were closing fast, their weapon systems powered up, but not yet locked on. Open a channel, Han ordered. The screen flickered to life, showing the bridge of the lead alien vessel. The Corax representative, his single eye glaring with barely concealed hostility, stared back at Han. Captain Han, this is a restricted area. Your presence here is a violation of the treaty, the Corax commander growled. Han didn't flinch. You entered the neutral zone first. We're merely responding to your provocation. The Corax commander sneered. We are conducting exercises. Your presence here is unnecessary and unwelcome. Unwelcome, perhaps, but necessary, Holston shot back. Stand down and return to your space, or we will be forced to take action. The Corax commander laughed, a harsh grating sound. You think your little pet can scare us? We faced worse. Han's eyes hardened. This isn't about fear. It's about demonstrating that humanity will not be intimidated. You have one chance to avoid a conflict that will cost you dearly. For a moment, there was silence. The tension was almost unbearable, each side waiting for the other to make a move. Then, without warning, the alien ships opened fire. All hands, battle stations, Han shouted. Engage the Cerberus. The Vengeance shuddered as it returned fire, its weapons blazing. The Cerberus, now fully awakened and aware of the threat, was unleashed. The creature tore through the corridors of the ship, making its way to the deployment bay. As it was launched into the fray, the alien ship suddenly realized what they were up against. The battle was fierce and chaotic, a deadly dance of fire and fury. The Cerberus moved with lethal precision, its hybrid nature making it a formidable adversary. It tore through the hulls of enemy ships, its claws and teeth ripping through metal and flesh alike. The Vengeance's crew fought with a determination born of necessity, their actions a testament to humanity's resolve. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the aliens had underestimated the humans. The Cerberus was more than just a weapon, it was a symbol of the lengths humanity would go to protect its interests. In the cold, unforgiving void of space, that determination was proving to be unstoppable. The battle raged on, each passing moment a testament to humanity's resilience and ferocity. The Cerberus moved through the battlefield like a whirlwind of destruction, its lethal prowess unmatched by any alien technology. Alien ships, once formidable, were reduced to smoldering wreckage as the hybrid beast unleashed its wrath. Captain On barked orders, coordinating the Vengeance's defenses and attacks with precise efficiency. The crew, galvanized by their captain's resolve, fought with an intensity that left their enemies reeling. As the tide of battle shifted, it became clear that the alien forces had severely underestimated their human adversaries. The Corax flagship, now visibly damaged, attempted to retreat. Han seized the opportunity. Target the flagship. Don't let them escape, he commanded. The Vengeance's main cannons roared to life, unleashing a barrage of firepower that tore through the Corax ship's defenses. The Cerberus, sensing the flagship's vulnerability, surged towards it. With a savage leap, it breached the hull, disappearing into the bowels of the ship. Inside the Corax flagship, chaos reigned. The crew, unprepared for such an intruder, were no match for the Cerberus. It moved with terrifying speed and precision, cutting down anyone who stood in its way. The Corax commander, desperate to regain control, rallied his remaining forces, but it was too late. The beast reached the command center, and with a final devastating attack, it brought the flagship to its knees. Back on the Vengeance, the crew watched as the Corax flagship erupted in a blinding explosion. Cheers erupted on the bridge, but Han remained focused, scanning for any remaining hostiles. "We need to ensure they're completely neutralized," Commander Ross, his face a mix of exhaustion and relief, nodded. "Yes, sir," scanning now. As the Vengeance's sensors swept the battlefield, it became evident that the remaining alien ships were either destroyed or in full retreat. The humans had won, and the message was clear: humanity was a force to be reckoned with. "Stand down from battle stations," On ordered, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through him. "Prepare recovery teams for the Cerberus." The crew moved quickly, organizing recovery efforts and tending to the wounded. The Cerberus, having completed its mission, returned to the ship, its black fur matted with the remnants of battle. Despite its ferocious nature, the creature seemed to recognize its handlers, allowing them to guide it back to the containment unit. As the ship settled back into a semblance of normalcy, Han convened a meeting with his senior officers. They gathered in the briefing room, the tension of the battle still palpable. "Today we sent a clear message to the galaxy," Han began, his eyes meeting those of his officers. "We showed them that humanity will not be intimidated or pushed around. The Cerberus proved its worth, but we must remain vigilant. This victory will undoubtedly provoke a response." Ross nodded. "We need to be prepared for retaliation. The Corax and their allies won't take this defeat lightly." Holston agreed. "We will bolster our defenses and continue to develop our capabilities. The Cerberus is just the beginning. We have to stay ahead of our enemies." As the meeting continued, plans were laid out for strengthening their defenses and preparing for future conflicts. The crew of the Vengeance, though weary from battle, were determined to protect their home and their people. In the days that followed, news of the battle spread throughout the galaxy. The Galactic Union was in turmoil, the balance of power irreversibly altered. Alien species that once viewed humanity as a minor player now saw them as a formidable force. The Cerberus, once a mere rumor, had become a symbol of human ingenuity and defiance. On Earth, the victory was celebrated, but the leaders remained cautious. They knew that this was just the beginning. The galaxy was vast and filled with potential enemies. Humanity would need to be stronger, smarter, and more united than ever before. In the quiet of his quarters, Captain Han reflected on the events that had transpired. The Cerberus had proven itself, but at what cost? The galaxy was now a much more dangerous place. But as he looked at the stars beyond the viewport, he knew one thing for certain: humanity would face whatever challenges lay ahead with the same determination and courage that had carried them through this battle. The future was uncertain, but Han was ready. The galaxy would never be the same, and neither would humanity. They had unveiled their new pet, and the entire alien population had trembled. Now, they would face the consequences together as one united force.